everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 9 of the Misfit of Demon King Academy, season 2, core 2. In my comments last week, a couple of you talked about the fact that you thought that this week's episode was going to be really good, and you were absolutely correct. This was a 100% fire episode that had some really interesting combat situations. It had a really cool music number. It gave us some great new information. And it wrapped up with an absolutely incredible cliffhanger that has me anxious and excited for next week. But next week is a week away, so let's dial it back and talk about what happened here. The first thing I need to say is that the Pope is a dope, and I don't like him, and I sincerely hope that Anos kicks his ass in next week's episode. The way that he actually tried to get Anos to convert all of the people of Dilhade to actually go and worship his god was despicable and disgusting, and is the antithesis of anyone who actually believes in any form of true faith. In order to believe in any form of true faith, you actually have to recognize that the importance of faith is for the individual to connect with a higher being. It's not some way to try and force and swarm your political ideas or social ideologies onto a mass that do not actually believe in what you're trying to sell them. Get out, go away, shove off. I hope that he takes the gentleman he spoke to outside before he went in at his word. I hope that he knows that he needs to kick this guy's butt, because this guy is trying to steal the hearts and minds of his people, and he's trying to do it in the most underhanded way possible. Scumbag. Okay, now that we're done with that, let's deal with a much more honorable combatant and a character I sincerely enjoyed this week, which is the king of the other underground kingdom that we were dealing with. I believe that his name was Agatha or something like that. I know it's spelled Agatha, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't how they were pronouncing it. So we're gonna roll with Agatha because I am so bad with pronunciation. Anyway, I super liked this guy, and I super liked an aspect of the fight that happened between him and Arcana, and Anos versus his goddess. I think her name was Nifta or something like that. And what I thought was really cool about it is the reality that apparently Nifta knew that they could not win, and also the king, Agatha, knew that they could not win, and yet they were still willing to try. I think that is such an important and powerful message, and that it's something that people can so often ignore or give up on things too easily. Now, would I recommend doing that in relation to fighting with somebody as powerful as Anos? Not necessarily so, but I think that for the average person and for the way that story relates to leaving good messages for regular people, I think it's actually something really valuable. But I mean, in all sincerity, even in Agatha's situation, he had no idea how powerful Anos actually was or why that was. So even with the probability stacked against him, there is always a chance at something to change. If there wasn't a chance for something to change, looking into the future would be meaningless. So I really liked that. The other thing I really liked about the character, and that I thought was really cool about him, is that even though he lost the fight, he was still a gracious loser. He actually acknowledged what happened during the fight, as did Anos. And it's like both of them trying to tell the other, no, you won, no, you won. And it's like, that was hilarious. The way that they were both so good-natured about it, and that Anos ultimately accepted what was going on and everything, which was great. I also really like the fact that when he actually lost, not only did he accept graciously and act commendably, inviting us to hopefully come to his kingdom someday, which I thought was nice, he also gave us some really useful information. Among that information is the fact that, according to his understanding of things, it was Militia who actually put our name into this selection competition, which is something I've theorized for a while, but it was great to actually have that be confirmed. It ties back into everything that we've heard and seen about the character of Militia going through everything, and it still seems that there's something going on with her, whether or not she ends up being Arcana or connected to Arcana in some way or not. I just thought that that was a really useful thing. I also like the fact that he warned us about the Pope of Dope when he was talking to us, and warned us that when we confronted him that we were going to need to give it everything we have. And I totally agree with him, because that guy, as I said a minute ago, was an absolute scumbag, and I cannot wait to see him get rocked, because yuck. Anyway, skipping on to the last major thing I want to talk about this week, we have the absolutely adorable music number from the Anos fan club. That was really cute how they set that up. And I mean, it was really interesting, and I wondered how they would deal with the potential loss of the hymn at the end of the last episode. And the idea of the demon choir stepping in and singing a hymn was such a really cool idea, especially considering that the Sojourner's Psalm was actually supposed to be something that was sung by somebody from another land. And what a great opportunity, given that the demons were there already, to take care of that. And also, not only was it a great idea in storytelling terms, allowing the Anos fan club to get a moment in the spotlight again, the song was actually catchy and really fun, and I really enjoyed it. Which is more of a side thing than anything else, but it's nice to see that they were able to include a fun and whimsical piece of music that definitely had my toes tapping, and I was having fun with that, so that was nice. Last thing I want to say is Ahide seems to have gotten his ass handed to him, or is in the process of having his ass handed to him. It is clarified. I was a bit confused last week. We now know for certain he is the same dude, and he is going through the nightmare that Anos put him through. I was a bit staggered on that last week, but it's definitely clear here, which is great. I wonder whether we've seen the last of him, or whether he will cause any more trouble going forward, given that Agata had a hold of him and seemed like he was going to give him to something as a sacrifice, which I mean, but I mean, he was a dick, so I don't entirely feel sympathy. We'll have to see what happens, because this is a story, and one of the rules of story, my friends, is that unless you see somebody die, they're not dead. So we'll have to see what goes on down there. But anyway, what did you guys think of this week's episode? Are you hyped for what could potentially happen next week? What did you think in general? I'd love to know, so feel free to drop a comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye!